My name is Crime. If you've been to the live before, you already know who I am. I want to talk about one of the hardest things about prison is not doing the time. Sometimes not even doing the time. Sometimes it's getting out. That is a hard part, and I'm still struggling with it to this day. Getting out, when you're sitting in jail and you're about to get out, you're going to have a whole bunch of parades for you. You're thinking people are going to be waiting. You're going to go outside them gates, and there's going to be a line of people out there just waiting for you. Like the road stopped just for you. But you get a reality check. Once you get out, most of the time, you might have your family out there. But sometimes you might not have nobody out there, depending on if you got a good support system or not. And that's one of the things I wanted to touch on today. Getting out it's hard, just as doing the time. Because sometimes you got to start from square one. A lot when you do time, you lose a lot of years, depending on how long your length is. And you might get out to having nothing, having nobody, maybe your wife left you while you were in there. Maybe your kids don't talk to you anymore. You might be back to square one, starting over. And that's the hardest part about getting out. I mean, that's the hardest part about prison is getting out sometimes. What's up, Quentin? What's up, man? Yeah, man, I've been trying to find some interviews on TikTok and stuff. I'm not having no luck. I'm not having no luck. I had some semi-famous people, but they want money. So I'm trying to, I might get some people come back for, they might be spinning the bin for interview number 2. Yeah, but Boston, getting out. How was it getting out, though? I got to get you on for an interview. What's up, Necro? Yeah, we can do a interview, Quentin. We can definitely do it. How long did you do in there? I get you in, Boston. Come on. As long as you got it, you did time and you got a story and you think it can help somebody, I don't mind putting it on the channel. Man, a day is too long in there. 6 years, that's a long time. The W Number podcast out of Boston area. He's on Tube also. Gotta look into that. Yeah, and I heard about Chud the Builder back in the news today. That's crazy. I can't believe some people are trying to defend this guy. I still can't believe that part. I want to touch on that a little bit today. Yeah, but back to what I was saying at first, getting out, man, I'm telling you, that was hard. I went from having like my own house, having everything, to getting out, and I'm staying back at my family's house. Grown man staying at his family house. Can't find no job, nothing. You just gotta take one day at a time, though. Especially if you got felony. Man, if you got a felony, and you got tattoos on your face, man, you can't even get a job at working at what's that stuff called when they delivering food and stuff? DoorDash. You can't even get a job doing that. I had to look around for jobs like under the table. Like if I seen like construction companies out there working on something, a house or road or something, I had to go up to them and be like, yo, look, I just got out of prison. I ain't, I can't find a job. I'm a hard worker. Give me a chance. You basically got to beg for a job. But there are a couple of groups out there. I didn't know this. There's a couple of groups out there that will help people that are in, your position. You got to go to them. You got to look them up, though. They ain't going to come to you. You got to look them up. But they help you fill out job applications and all that. And why does everybody say a wheelchair, man? I'm not in a wheelchair. Hey, I don't blame you either. Hey, look, I wouldn't hire me either. I ain't gonna lie. If I had a successful business and I walked through the door, I'd be like, hell no. Hell no. Tell him we ain't hiring. I'd do the same thing. But I can't help it though. Like I was going through some things. People go through some things. I'm telling you, when I was in jail and my grandparents died, man, I'm telling you, I was going through some things. I didn't think I was ever getting out of prison. I, when I was in prison, I was not thinking about the future. I was not. Yeah, but you gotta keep on. A lot of people, they give up. A lot of people give up, and they're like, you know what? I might as well go back to doing what I was doing, and they end up, going back into prison, back into jail, because they try, but they can't get anywheres. I don't get back in the streets because I don't want to, man. I don't want to because I could have died. There's lots of times I could have died out there. I wanna get old and like see my kids have grandkids or something. I don't have kids, but maybe one day I want to have kids. You know, I don't want to like be in the streets and just be like entertainment to like other people. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? Hell no. That's a fast life, man. That life comes with consequences. Either one day you're going to end up dying, or you're going to end up in prison for the rest of your life. You're going to get in a situation that you didn't ask for. Man, everybody's sitting in prison. You think they knew that they was going to prison? Hell no. Yeah, so like I told myself, I said, when I get out, I'm changing my life. You know, I got to work on getting these tattoos off my face because that's one thing. Just like how I come on here and like you say you wouldn't hire me, that's what I deal with in real life. So, I got to do something about that. But I told myself when I get out, I'm going to cut off all my homeboys and all that because you got to get away from that situation. But it's going to drag you back into it. No, I didn't snitch. I don't got nothing to snitch on. I did all my time. Yeah, the laser places, but you got to find those places. Like, I live out in the mountains. I live out here in Cumberland, and like we got tattoo shops and stuff out here. It's like a miniature Hagerstown, and there's a couple of tattoo places out here, but they don't have laser treatments. It's not that big of a place to have that kind of equipment, I guess. Yeah, it's expensive too. Like I ain't gonna lie, a tattoo, they range. They might be like 200 to 300 all the way up, right? The same tattoo that costs you like $200 might cost you like $1,000 to get removed. Hey, I did a couple of tattoos when I was in jail though. I tried. I had to make a hustle somehow. I was doing the plucking. I had somebody pluck on me too. That's when you ain't got a machine. That's when you just got like a little needle and you're sitting there just doing it by hand. Man, that stuff takes forever. Yeah, but the reason I got my tattoos, I was just going through some things, man. My grandparents died, and I didn't think I was getting out because I already knew I was running with an organization in there, and I just knew it was a matter of time before I got sent on a mission or something like that, and I was going to get more time. And plus, everybody that I was messing with on the outside, like my homeboys, like I was married before I went in there. I got divorced when I was in prison. My homeboy stopped answering the phones for me. I was like, man, there ain't nothing for me to go home to. That's what I was feeling like. Yeah, that stuff is rough, man. Not having support when you're in prison is rough. Like I see some people, man, they be all day. They wake up, they're on the phone with the girls, their mom all day. That's all they just take over the phone. And a lot of people are like, man, you be on that phone all day. You miss the outside world so much. Why you come in here? Yeah, it does suck. But if you're strong, I mean, if you're strong enough, you get through it. I didn't even get a letter. I didn't get one letter when I was in there. Not one letter. No, hold on. I take that back. Somebody did send me a letter. My mom did send me a letter, and she did do like a video call with me one time. Oh, I already changed. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not in the streets like I used to be. I'm in the house. I think like I don't know if I'm institutionalized or whatever, but now that I'm free, I'm out of prison. I can go out there. I can go out the house and do stuff, but I choose not to. I don't know because I'm so used to be stuck in the cell all day. I'll be in the house most of the time. I'm trying to help my sister out though, because I see my little sister, man, she's going through the same things I went through, but it's coming from a female, and like I'm afraid I might get a call one day and they tell me she's dead, she passed away or something, because she's living fast out there, man. And that part sucks because I get on here, right, and I share my prison stories, my jail stories, and I help a lot of people out, or at least people send me comments and they tell me I help them out. But then I'm like, damn, I can't even help like the people closest to me though. Like I'm helping people online, but I can't help the like my family that's closest to me. That part sucks. She did. My sister got arrested, right? My mom's taking care of her kids, and when she got arrested, I told my mom, I was like, I don't wish jail or prison on anybody, but I think you should really leave her in there because she's going to end up because she was hooked on drugs real bad. She still is. And I said, man, I think you should leave her in there for a little bit so she could sober up, just for a little bit. But my mom being my mom, she don't want to see her in there, so she got her out. And my sister said she was going to change on the phone and stuff, but when she got out, she was right back to doing what she was doing. She probably stayed like a day at my mom's house, and then she was running the roads. She ain't been back since. And like I called my mom to check up on everybody, and she says, "Yeah, your sister. I don't know what to do for her. She was she's with some guy she doesn't even know. They're partying and stuff. She's with a guy she doesn't even know, and people called me. I guess she was at like a bus stop or something." And like my sister was so messed up, she couldn't even control herself. She was like nodding out and stuff like a zombie. And somebody got her phone and called my mom for help. My mom said it was embarrassing. And, I don't see it going a good way. I don't even think like rehab or something like that would work because she would just check herself out. And like I think I shared with you guys, my mom used to run an escort service when I was young. My mom ran an escort service, like with the phone book and stuff. She sent girls on calls and stuff. Not all girls like that are out there wild. Some are just trying to pay the bills. They got their boyfriend or whatever might be locked up or whatever, and they just stuck with a whole bunch of kids, ain't got no way of income, so they gotta do what they gotta do. So don't look down on them. All right, don't look down on people that do stuff like that. But yeah, she grew up and she was around people like that. It made her wild. But hopefully, something happens, man. Hopefully something happens. I think the only thing that's going to save her is going to jail, doing a lot, or going to prison. I hate to say it because I don't want to wish prison or jail on anybody, but I don't see any other way to like help her. Yeah, people definitely need to be kinder though. That's one thing about it. But I'm telling you something. You go to prison, there's no kindness in prison. I'm telling you that right there. There is no kindness in prison. If somebody offers you something, they're not doing it for kindness. They're getting something that whatever they're giving you comes with strings. That's real talk. That's why I like to share my stories because I want to warn people what they're getting into. Like you see that these suburban kids, they're watching the King Bomb videos and stuff. They're out there on the block. Even when they ain't got to be. Their parents might be lawyers, might run their own business, and they're chasing a dream because they want to look a certain way. And I'm just telling them, man, it's not worth it because you get in a place. Now all prisons and jails ain't the same, but you end up at the wrong prison. And I'm telling you, seen videos online about people be put under the bunk, people with belts wrapped around their necks like dogs. You see one guy, he's got 2 dog leashes and he's got 2 inmates. That stuff is real. It might be like some people look at that stuff and they're like, oh, that's funny. That's just a skit. That's not a skit. That stuff really happens. There ain't no kindness on YouTube Live. Everyone here is personal signal for attention. Hey, it is what it is. I don't know. If that's what it is, I want to make my signal something positive. I do know that, you know. Growing up, I never been the person who loves attention or nothing like that. I used to be the shy kid, but I ain't gonna lie, I didn't get love at the house, you know. So I would go to school and be the class clown and stuff. So I did have that part. Why is there so much? It's just is, man. Violence. People listen to violence. Like, you know, you might tell your kids or something. Your kids might be like teenagers. You might tell them something. They ain't gonna listen to you. But you know, they go to prison. They gonna listen to Big Bubba, you know, because he gonna like motherfucking break them. There's some scary people in prison. I ain't gonna lie. You go to prison, it'll change your life. It will change your life. You'll run across some people. You'll be like, I don't ever want to come here no more. The prison I was at Hagerstown, MCTC and RCI up here in Hagerstown, Maryland. And we got a lot of Baltimore people that come from Baltimore. They got a jail in Baltimore, but they ain't got no prison. So the people, they come up here to our prison. Man, Baltimore people, I'm telling you, man, you want to talk about some mind games? They are the best at it. And I say that in a good way, like a positive, because, you know, they be reading a lot of the BGF. They good on reading what's that one book called, the Art of War and stuff like that, 48 Laws of Power. Like the organization is built on that, so they know how to run mind games. You might walk up to them and have a conversation, and the whole time they're sitting there, they're not hearing you. They're hearing everything they want to hear and putting it together, and they're baking you a cake. And you just give them the information. They're going to listen to whoever they see with power. Yeah, that's one thing, you know. I remember my first day in prison, I seen the leader of the BGF. Man, that guy had so much power. I'm not even gonna lie, that guy had so much power. The BGF basically ran my building, the building I was at. That's why the Crips and the Bloods had to tie flags, because there were so many of them. I remember when we used to go out for yard, you know, you see organizations working out and stuff. The BGF, they be out in the field where like people are playing soccer, the Mexicans are playing soccer and stuff like that, the MS-13 or whatever. There'd be so many of them. It looks like a whole, like a boot camp session. And, you know, the Crips, they be on the black tile, and there'll probably be like, maybe like, I'm gonna say like 14 of us. And then the Bloods be on the other side, and there'll probably be like 20 of them. But the BGF, they outnumbered everybody. Jay sent me, but didn't know. I didn't know you did live streams. Yeah, I mean, I do live streams every once in a while. I think it helps out the stream, because I ain't gonna lie, when I first started YouTube, right, I was watching, I tell this all the time, but I try to talk to people about, you know, the trauma stuff that I seen in prison, because you see a lot of people die in prison. It gets to you after a while. Like the paranoia and all that, it gets to me. Like it kills me. Like the paranoia, I'm a paranoid person now. Like I'll be laying in my bed. If I hear noise outside, I can't sleep until I find out where that noise is coming from. I'm all in the windows like a crackhead. You know, it's crazy. I got to sleep with a weapon. I don't feel safe because I know how people are. Like they will set you up. Paranoia is a real thing. PTSD is a real thing for people getting out of prison. Especially, man, like there's a lot of backstabbing, getting jumped in prison. There's no fair fights in there. There's no fair fights at all. So you tend, like when you're in a room, you have your back against the wall. You want to watch what's going on. You don't give anybody a chance to get you in the back. I done had so many instances where before I went to prison, before I even went to jail, I told a story about my homeboy. I got a settlement from a car accident, and I needed help because I was wanted. And he told me to come over his motel. He stayed at a motel. I told the story before. I'm just giving a little smaller version to people that don't know. Well, anyways, I went over there, and he ended up trying to set me up. To make a long story short, he tried to set me up. He was inviting people over there to rob me the whole time. But one of the people that he invited over there was one of my friends too. And he got me out of that situation. But that just goes to show you, when you're down on your luck, the snakes around you, you're not gonna know they're snakes. You're not. They're only gonna strike when there's opportunity, and when you're at your weakest. And that's what people do, man. Yeah, it's tough, man. Like when I got out, I had to I was taking meds and stuff. Because man, the paranoia was off the charts. I mean, everybody around me, they was like, damn, man, you're paranoid as hell. I wouldn't even, like, if somebody offered me a drink, I'd be like, did you put something in this drink or something like that? Paranoia. I'd be thinking people trying to fucking end me and say. But I didn't like the way the meds made me feel, so I stopped taking those. I forgot what they were called. I don't know. I had to look it up. But anyways, I stopped taking the meds. I didn't like the way they were making me feel. But over time, it's kind of went down a little bit, but it's never gonna go away. I got through my PTSD by accepting that I did what I had to at the time to survive. Not everyone deserved what we did to them. Yeah, you're right about that. Being in prison, that's the thing about prison. You're sitting in there for however long you're sitting in there, for years, and you're in there for one instance. One thing you did wrong. It could be like you messed up for 5 minutes. You put your hands on somebody. You stole something. You got to relive that every day in there. And, every day I would wake up, I'd be like, damn, why the fuck did I do that? I'd be kicking myself in the ass. I'm like, man, I could have, walked away, did something else. Why did I have to do all that? You're in there every day, and you got to remind yourself why you're in there. And that's the part, man. So when I got out, I was like, hell no, I would never. I'm just going, keep to myself. If somebody comes at me, I'm going to walk away or something, because people will set you up. If you was a snitch, better PC up on the first day. Hell yeah. I ain't gonna lie. The thing about snitches, right? You can be a civilian on the outside. If you see a crime, if somebody breaks in your car, if you see a drug deal outside, you see somebody get shot, and you're not in the streets, you got every right to snitch. You're a civilian. You can do that. The only people that live by that code is people in the streets. And why does that code exist? So you don't tell on them. That's why that code exists. That's the only reason why it exists. So you don't tell on them. But if you're not in that life, you don't have no obligation to live by their rules at all. You can do what you want to. But I will warn you though, if you go to prison and you are snitching, people are not going to want to be around you. And that's just what it is. If people find out that you snitch, they're like, whoa, damn, if he snitched on that person, he can't be trusted. He'll snitch on all of us. They're going to get you up out of there. And that's just what it is. So if you know that you got some bad paperwork or something, you better PC up, because you're going to get yourself in a situation. And depending on where you're at, that situation could be, you getting beat up, or you getting kicked off the pod, or you could have a weapon up to your throat. Anything can happen. Is this how jail looks? What do you mean by that? Let's just look how jail looks. Jail, I'm gonna do a reaction video to some more prison shows. I like that one show, Lock Up Raw. That show's pretty good because they really show what prison really is. The Locked Up Raw. If you ever wondered, if you ain't never been to prison and you wonder what it looks like, and you wonder how everybody really acts, and it's not being glorified and all like that. Like the other jail show, 60 Days In, like they kind of tweak stuff. That's not how all jails are. You know, that's a certain jail. But all jails aren't like that. But if you want to know how prison really is, watch Locked Up Raw. I'd rather go to PC than deal with people in prison. Well, see, that's the thing about it though. If you decide to go to PC, like you're gonna get labeled and you're gonna have that label on you forever. Like there's always gonna be somebody that recognizes you and they're gonna tell the other person. It's never gonna go away. Any plans for the channel? Are you planning collabs? I already did collabs a couple of times. I did I done been on Jay Williams channel a couple. Well, I did a part 1 and part 2 to an interview. Oh snap! I got a collab today. I forgot. I got a collab today. Man, it's a good thing you reminded me. I got a collab today. Jay Williams is supposed to he said he's gonna invite me to something tonight. Man, it's a good thing you said that. Cause I would have not been prepared for that. I probably would have been laying in bed. He sent me the invite and I'm like, oh snap. So at least now I can get ready, you know. Yeah, but I did Jay Williams. He's probably like in the top 3 for prison content. Me and Big Miz, he's another prison content creator. He'd be talking about Georgia prisons and stuff like that. The prisons he was at, I think it's at Boston State or something like that. But I did collabs with him. And I mean, this channel is pretty new, right? So it's only like 4 months old. And I want to do more collabs. I just got to reach out to these people. I like to get on the 23-and-1. I like to get on that one for an interview or something, but he's hard to get a hold of. I don't know. Like I sent him a message, but he might have like a million messages in his inbox. Oh snap! Yeah, I'm trying. Oh, JD Delay, he's pretty cool too. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he'll have me on his. I don't know if he will or not. Yeah, Josh at 23. Is that his name, Josh? Yeah, he's pretty cool. I watched him when I first came home too. Him and Jay Williams. Man, we got to do a live stream, right? And one day I gotta bring all y'all on the live with me, and we're all just gonna come on here and kick it and talk about prison times and stuff. If we need to do that, I'll bring y'all on. Necro, Boston, Anarchist, all y'all. Kind of like what Jay Williams be having, you know, on his Saturday nights. That's the thing I'm gonna be on tonight. I don't know if I was supposed to tell y'all or not. I don't know. I hope not, because he's gonna get mad at me. But anyways, we should do something like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. We'll have like something to do with prison, a prison topic, and then we'll just all talk about it. And I don't care. You guys can take it and use the footage on your channel. I don't care. You guys do whatever you want to. Rob a truck for 5 miles, but getting 1 year. Oh, 5 million. I thought it said miles. I'm dumb. Rob a truck for 5 million, but getting 1 year. That's crazy. Man, if I could rob a truck and get $5 million out of it and have to do a year, I don't know, man. I'll probably do it. Did you ever reach out to marketing firm to help your channel when you started it? No, I didn't. I just, you know, just did my own thing. But I did, I ain't gonna lie. I had a short, you know, YouTube shorts. I put a YouTube short and it was Take Me Back to the Hole. It blew up. I got 6 million views on that short. 6 million. Like 6 million views. That's a lot of views. 6 million, that's a lot of people. Man, I wasn't getting paid though. I wasn't monetized at the time, so I wasn't even getting paid for it. But man, I got like freaking like a lot of subscribers from that. So it's at the point where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to take this serious or not, right? But when that happened, I was like, you know what? This seems easy. I'm going to do it. But I have never been able to replicate it, ever. I can't. I don't know if it was a fluke or what. I tried to replicate it so many times. and I cannot do it. I can't do it. So, but I wanted to start this YouTube channel and put out my long form videos, like my stories and stuff. That's what I really wanted to do. I wasn't even really into the shorts. But when that blew up, it's like YouTube was like, oh, this is a short channel. Thank you for that gift, Milky. YouTube was like, oh, this is a short channel. We're just gonna promote your shorts, and to hell with your long form videos. So that happened. And, all the people that subscribe to me, they like shorts. And every time I do a story or whatever, it wasn't getting out there. Some people loved my stories. They're like, hell yeah, you should keep doing this. But it was only a small portion of people. I've been thinking about starting my own YouTube telling my stories about drugs and alcohol. Yeah, I think you should do it. If it has if you feel like your stories could help somebody, I would for sure do it. For sure do it. If you're putting out your stories, like this is what I went through, so you don't have to go through it. For somebody dealing with that right now, they might watch you and it might trigger something in them. You never know. Like somebody could literally be right there. They trying to quit drugs and they got the drugs right in front of them. And, they're deciding if they should do it or not. And your video comes on, that could be the turning point in their life. Like, seriously, that could be the turning point in their life. And they're like, you know what? You're right. That could happen. You never know. I would say go for it, man. I mean, like when I put out my videos and stuff, I'm not expecting my stuff to blow up. I'm never expecting to get as big as Jay Williams. None of these people. I just do it just to help people every once in a while. That's it. I put way more money into this stuff than I get out of it. Trust me on that. But you gotta be passionate about it. As long as you're passionate about something, like for that, I think that'd be a good motivation. How do you say it? I got speech problems. I can't say certain words. They love jail stories because they want to know how people really be when they surrounded by gangs. Man, I ain't gonna lie. The scariest thing in jail, well, not even in jail and prison. I watched people like run up debts. Man, they be running up debts and they be going to different people and running up debts. And they get to a point where they can't pay everybody back. So now they're hiding in their cells. Every time they say chow time, lunch, breakfast, they're hiding. Every time that door opens, they're pretending to be in bed sick. Man, I seen that, and I'm telling you, those people be stressing out. They be stressing out. Matter of fact, James, I think you're the one that said that about the channel thing. I had if you want, I'll come on your thing with you. We could talk about it too, because I was addicted to Percocets, right? The pain pills. I got into a car accident, and that's when my life, really started going downhill. I was into the gangs and all that, but when I got into like the drugs real bad, that's when it really started spiraling out of control. Man, I'm telling you, them pain pills, when you're abusing them, they're just as bad as, the hard stuff. It really is. You get to a point where you're taking it just to feel good or whatever. And then you get to a point where your body's so used to it. If you don't have it, like you're going through withdrawals, your body, you're taking it just to feel normal at that point. And that's what I feel like. That's what I felt like. I'm like, damn, if I don't have one of those pills today, I'm going to feel like shit all day. You're just taking it to feel normal at that point. Scariest thing is when somebody of your own race runs up a debt and now you have to worry about jumping for them stupid ass every time they go to movement. Yeah, that's another thing. Like if you're in an organization, like you could be a Crip, a Blood, and a lot of people, they're on the outside, they're not in gangs. But once they get inside, they get so intimidated by everybody. If you're not in the gang watching your back, you're alone. And a lot of people, they don't want to be alone. So they join gangs. A lot of people do it. But if somebody else in your gang messes up, you're liable for them. If they're going around running up debts and stuff, and we all go to chow, and now somebody jumps on them, and you're right beside them, you're obligated to jump in. Like, and if you don't jump in, then you get handled, and it could be anything from you getting stabbed up to getting beat up, DP'd, and all that. It doesn't matter. Like that dude could be in the wrong, right? He could have ran up $100 worth of stuff, $100 worth of drugs. But if you didn't jump in, man, they don't care about that. They're saying, why didn't you jump in? That's your homie. Why didn't you jump in? And now you're in a cell full of 20 other gang members looking at you like you did something wrong. I mean, you kind of did. When you sign up for something like that, you there's rules that come with it. If you don't gather debts, don't cause problems, and you just keep to yourself, you think there's still going to be problems for a person in prison? Yeah, absolutely. There can be problems still for you. It depends on anything can happen. I'm not gonna lie. You can do everything you're supposed to do. And this is what a lot of people don't tell you. They tell you, long as you keep your mouth shut, long as you mind your business, you'll be good. But that's not the truth. You can do everything right, but just because you look a certain way, or you showed a moment of weakness, somebody might see that and they might target you for no reason, just because you're a come up to them. You might have, like, every week you might go to the store and you're minding your business. You don't talk to nobody, but you got your spouse on the outside sending you money every week to go to the store. Somebody in the gang might see you, and they might not be able to go to the store every week. They might have 1,000,000 drug debts that they ran up, and they need money fast. They see you going to the store by yourself. It could start something, and that's just one of the risks that come with prison and jail. It could happen, but when a problem like that presents itself to you, it's how you handle the situations, how everybody else is going to see you. If somebody comes at you, just handle it like a man. That's all you gotta do is, handle like a man. However you think a man should handle the situation is how you should handle it. Oh crap. Mm, damn, prison just makes you into a violent person. It really does. I'm not gonna lie. Prison can make you're in a violent place. That's one of the things I like to tell people. I like to warn them. Like, when you go to prison, a lot of people say prison's easy. Some prisons are easier than others. Just because you were at one prison for a year, you didn't have any problems, that doesn't mean all the rest of the prisons are easy. The next time you go to prison, you can act the same way, but you're in a different prison. You could become somebody's fucking, somebody's play toy or something, man. For real. It's a dangerous place, man. It really is. I mean, when I was in jail, right, I was going through some things, and I told this story a whole bunch of times. I got my jaw broken. For anybody new to the stream, like me, I got jumped by my own gang, but it was my fault. It's a whole long story. I don't even want to get into it, but it was over a food stamp card. I got jumped by my own gang and got my jaw broken. I didn't see that coming. I got manipulated by the BGF. And I ain't gonna lie, at the time, I was like, man, F all BGFs. If you're BGF, I'm not doing no business with you. I'm not going to your store. I don't want nothing to do with you. But since then, I had a couple of BGF cellies, and they were cool. I can't when you have a problem with one organization or one race or something, you can't hold the rest of them accountable for it. You really can't, because a lot of times we do that. You're not human unless you've done that before. Does everyone who joins a gang eventually regret it? No, I don't think so. I think a lot of people, they never a lot of people join gangs and they don't regret it. A lot of them, they're about that life and everything that comes with it. The only people that really regret it is the people that want to someday be normal, have a normal life, have a family. Those are the people that are going to regret it. But if you don't care about having a family, having a normal life, and you love being in the streets, you love everything that comes with it, I've seen people like that. I have. Man, they had their gang all over their face. You think this is bad? I'm talking all over. I'm talking all over. And if they never aspire to be more. Yeah, exactly. If they never aspire to be more, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, but just sitting in all them years, it made me realize, like, damn, man, I don't want this to be my life. Like, I don't want this. Like, there's a lot of gang members in there, right? I told y'all I was a part of an organization there, and a lot of people, they be like, man, I can't wait to get out. I'm gonna sell this much drugs. I'm gonna do this right. I'm gonna do this. I got all these drugs waiting for me when I get out to make some money and stuff. Like, they already know what. As soon as they get out, they got a game plan. They know what they're doing, and they can get sent right back in there. Man, I was like, man, I had enough of this. I don't want to do this no more. Being around men all day, man, just being around men. It's not even being around men, being around people in general. Like, I'm secluded. I like to have my space. Like, even when I'm in a cell with somebody, like, I don't want to be sleeping and having you hover over me all freaking day. Like, that's annoying. I'm sitting here sleeping and you're sitting there walking back and forth, trying to turn on the TV, looking out the window, looking out the door. Man, that used to annoy me to the fullest. I'm telling you. I got into it with a lot of my cellies. And man, I'm not going to tell you. There's some things I don't want to get into. Man, I'm telling you, I got into it. I was an asshole in there. Man, I'd be like, man, why are you man, go sit down somewhere. Why you keep walking back and forth? I was one of them dudes. But I mean, there ain't really, if you're in jail, there ain't nothing to do in that cell. There ain't nothing to do in there except for take naps and read books. So, I used to have a routine. I'd wake up, eat my breakfast and stuff. And then if we had rec in the morning, I go out there, I come back in there. And by that time, I'm probably drawing. I used to draw tattoos and stuff. Like, if I wanted, what do you call it? The sketches and stuff. I used to do that. And I used to have a book I read all the time. Did you have a tablet? Were you able to play games? Yeah. When you're in jail, they have like well, up here, it's probably different for all jails, but up here, they probably have like 10 tablets for every pod. And then every pod, you got 80 people. So in rec time, you got to share the tablet. Now, you got some gangs that take over the tablet. Like, they say tablet number one. On the back of it, they'll have like a number one, number two, number three. People put, for marker or whatever. So, like, the Crips might be like, tablet number one's ours. Don't nobody touch this. You got to be a Crip to touch this tablet. And then, the Bloods might have one, the Muslims, and then you have a civilian. But when you get to prison, they give everybody their own tablet. Now, when you got your own tablet, you get on it, you got stuff like Pluto TV. If you don't know what Pluto TV is, it's kind of like Netflix, but except they play older movies. Like, I'm talking about like Ghostbusters, the old Ghostbusters, like, Boys in the Hood, stuff like that. They're playing older movies. They're not playing. I mean, some once in a while they might have some newer movies, like they might have like Transformers or something on there, or something like a couple years back. But it's not Netflix. It is not Netflix. And you probably have like 4 or 5 games on there. You can't go to a game store like the Google Play Store. They don't have that on there. The games are already set on there. It's like I forgot what games it was, like that the Angry Birds. They had like 3 of those on there. The Angry Birds, and they had some jewel game where you had to match your jewels up. They had a space game, and they had a couple other games. Oh, my bad about if you got a comment and I don't see it, my bad. I'm sorry. If I don't see it, just write it again. Movie stuff, couple games and stuff like that. How was the food? Man, the food is horrible as hell. I'm not gonna lie. Now, when I first got to prison, right, we had little miniature steaks, and I'm not talking about no T-bone steaks. There was like just little cheap steaks. But then they changed the cooking company that cook for the prison or whatever, because they have a company that sends the prison every meal that they're going to get. There's a lady in the kitchen. She orders all this food, and the company sends the food, so they know what they're going to serve the inmates every week, and it's the same thing. They never change it. Well, they changed the company, so they stopped serving that food, and they had a new list, and that list was horrible. I'm telling you, it had the least favorite thing I liked on there was meat rock, and basically it's a big meatball. It looked like this. I'm not even kidding you. It's a meat rock. It was a meatball, just one big meatball. And man, that stuff is so nasty. I don't even know what's in that stuff. I think they put everything in there. It's not real meat. It's like soybean stuff. Bro, we had a dude that was able to jailbreak them until they found his laptop. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard that some inmates know how to jailbreak the tablets, where you know how you can't access like stuff like the internet and stuff on the tablets. Well, they know how to crack them open and rewire them, so you can get on Google Play Store and you can get on Facebook and all that. But I wish I knew how to do that. It's called potash meat substance. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. That stuff is nasty as hell, though, man. I'm telling you. One day, I was trying to eat it because I was starving in there. I was forcing myself to eat it, and I don't know. There was like a plastic little tie in there, like one of those little plastic ties. It was in the meat rock. I almost choked on it. I was like, "Man, what the hell?" Oh yeah, you could. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. If you go to TikTok right now, sometimes I'll be going to TikTok and I'll see inmates that are currently in jail, in prison, and they be on TikTok because there's a lot of cell phones in prison and jail. They're not supposed to have them, but contraband is always gonna come in. Man, they're on TikTok trying to pick girls up and shit, and it's a game to them. If you ever go on TikTok and your girl's on there and she's talking to them, man, get her off of there. I'm telling you, because they'll try to, inmates, convicts, man, they're going to try to get money from your girl. They're going to tell her everything she wants to hear, and that's the game they play. They try to get as many girls as they can to send them money. They be playing them and stuff. Yeah, you better freak out, man. If you walk into the room and your girl's watching some inmates in TikTok, man, you better snatch that phone away and be like, hell no. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't even know how. Like, they got Wi-Fi in there, right? Thank you for that. Or is that an old gift? Oh yeah, thank you for that gift, Gina. Jenna. I think I pronounced your name right. My bad if I pronounce it wrong, but thank you for that. Yeah, they got little Wi-Fi boxes. It was above the pod door, and basically it was for the tablet because the tablet got some running Wi-Fi, the jail Wi-Fi. But I don't even think the COs were allowed to bring their own cell phones in there. I don't think so. But I do remember one day, Bill Feasy, he's also a prison content creator. I was watching his videos, and I remember him talking about it. And he talked about somebody having a cell phone, and they can only get a good signal in one person's cell. Like they were going to everybody's cell, and they weren't getting good signals. But this one guy had this cell that was perfect, and they got good reception. And like he was renting that room out, and it really happens in there. People really be doing stuff like that. Bro, I have a question. What about keeping phones and contraband? Do the guards really check your shit, or is it just when you're in trouble? No, they do random searches and all that. If somebody drops a slip on you, like say there's a pod, there's like 100 people in the pod, like 80 something or something like that. There's always somebody hating. Like there's always somebody writing notes, and they got this little thing where you're supposed to write to the COs. Like if you want a medical or something, you write a medical slip and you put it into the box. And in the morning time, the CO grants all the slips and stuff. But some people, they'll be like, so and so cell 33, it's got drugs in the cell. They be sitting there trying to set people up and stuff. They be hating. So they'll pretend like it's a medical slip and they'll put it into the box. And then the COs will be reading that and they're like, oh, somebody's dropping slips. And then later that night, man, this is when they do it too. They wait till it's like 2 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock. Man, they'll come rushing in there, popping the cell doors, rushing in there. Get up, everybody get out, get out. You got to get out, handcuff you and all that. Somebody did that to me a couple of times. I think they were trying to snitch on me. They came in, they never got me because usually you never want the cell that's closer to the door. Because as soon as they come in, they're gonna pop that first door first. You want the cell that's all the way in the back. So when you can wake up and have time. Like you don't know what the fuck's going on. I remember times where my cellie, he wake me up, he's like, hey, get up. You gotta get rid of that weapon. Get rid of that weapon. Because if you get caught with a shank, that's a year put onto your sentence. So I hurry up and get up and I grab my weapon and I go over to the toilet and I'll have it sitting right there. Because sometimes the COs will come in there and they'll pop like a couple of doors. They won't pop everybody's door sometimes. So I'm waiting to see if they pop my door. As soon as I hear that, you will hear the door pop before it starts moving. Like you hear like the mechanical stuff in there start going. As soon as I start hearing that, I'll flush the toilet real quick and flush that thing down there. Cause I ain't trying to get caught with that. Man, that will suck. I'm sitting there, I'm about to go home. And they're like, oh, whoa, where are you going? You gotta go back to jail. Remember that knife we caught you with? Yeah, you gotta do a year for that. Hell no, I'm not trying to do that. You you usually hear, yeah, you hear them, but they try to be sneaky sometimes, man. They'll try to be sneaky. They'll pop the door and there'll be like 16 of them coming in there being quiet as hell. They do it late at night when it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, everybody's sleeping. One person might call them out, tears wet. That's what they be saying, tears wet. That's what they were saying down here. They'd be like, tears wet, and everybody gets up, getting rid of shit. A lot of people, they got their stuff put up though. Like a prison pocket, they put it right up in there. They put all their stuff together and put it right up in there. Yeah, the keys rattling and stuff like that. You can hear the COs be coming, especially when they're doing count. You be sitting there laying in bed and you hear the keys jiggling. You know a CO is about to come up to your door. But I remember one time they did a cell search on me, man. I was in there and they handcuffed me and my cellie. Well, first, as soon as they came in there, they made us strip down. We had to take off all of our clothes. They did him first. They made him take off all of his clothes and they had me outside the door. And then they told him to bend over, open his cheeks, lift up his sack and all that. Then they handcuff him. They put him in a plastic chair outside the door, and then they told me to come in there. They got me undressed. They made me do the same thing. Then they made both of us sit outside of the cell door in the chairs. And one person's got to be able to watch them do the cell search. It's like it's a rule or something. I don't know. I forgot what the rule was, but one person's got to be able to watch them search to make sure they ain't planting no stuff and they ain't doing nothing funny. It's one of the jail rules. But they took my mattress out, my little mat. Them things are small and like thin. Man, they cut that thing open. They thought I was hiding stuff inside. Cause some of the mats, they got little holes in them where you can hide knives and whatever you want in there. They cut it open. Man, I was like, damn, they're really searching. Cause most of the time they don't do all that. Like they'll mess up your room. Like if you have bags with papers in them, court papers, man, they'll dump all that on your bed, all your stuff. It's a mess in there. All your covers, they're messing up your bed. They're taking your sheets off. They're flipping everything. You got a place where your commissary is. They're taking your bag, dumping everything on your bed. Everything's dumped on your bed. There's papers all over the cell floor and everything. So when it's done, you gotta go in there and clean up for like the next hour. But now, I'm not gonna lie, some jails it's harder to get contraband in. They ain't never gonna stop contraband from coming in, right? They ain't never gonna stop that. But they equip these one scanners and like it's an X-ray thing. So when you first come in, they scan your body, and usually, people they keep the stuff in their prison pocket, you know, your prison pocket, your boot, your butt. They put it up there. But if you get scanned, they can see all that. They can see all that. They're coming in your house. Yeah, basically they're coming in your house. Because when you're living in there, that's your house. You know, if your cellie gets into it with another person, and they come in your cell to go after him, they're coming into your house. So that's disrespecting you. And the COs, that's your house. They coming in there destroying shit, but they can do that. Yeah, your butt is your prison suitcase. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I didn't do it because everybody has to do it. I ain't gonna lie. You ain't getting caught with that stuff. They don't give you like pants with pockets. You're not gonna be walking around with like shorts with pockets all in there. I ain't gonna lie. Some inmates, they be taking sweatpants and they'll get another inmate to sew them pockets on to like, homemade pockets. But most of the clothes they sell you aren't gonna have pockets. They don't want you hiding nothing. But we be making our own pockets and stuff. Secret pockets. But like your prison pocket, what I was talking about, they can't just go up in there. So that's one place where like people keep stuff. Man, people be putting weapons and everything up their ass, man. I'm telling you. Somebody will have a long weapon up in there. Just before they're about to use it, they'll bend over and get it out. I'm telling you, I seen this, man. I seen this. If there's so much contraband, why can't the guard just get rid of it all? Is it just overwhelming? Well, sometimes the COs are bringing it in. I'm telling you, it's so much money in that stuff. Because take for instance, up here, K2 and Suboxone is one of the two biggest drugs up here where I'm at. Most prisons across the U.S. is K2 and K2 and Suboxone. Suboxone, you can get it from a doctor. You sell it on the outside for like $5, but inside prison, one of those little strips that would go for $5 on the outside go for $300. Everything costs so much more. A cell phone that costs $200 here on the outside, inside will cost you anybody $2,000. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes the prison staff, the inmates will talk them into bringing stuff in, and that happens a lot. You can look it up online. It happens a lot. It happens a lot more than what you think. I'm telling you. Even when I was in there was about like 4 COs bringing stuff in. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to say no names or nothing because they probably still working up there and stuff. And I ain't in the gossip, but it happens a lot more than what you think. So and when there's that much money involved, like if somebody's like, man, they're calling the girl and they're like, hey, you got them 200 Suboxones? We could turn that into, all this money. They're going to plan it out, set it up. They're going to, meet up with the CO, get to the CO. The CO's going to bring it in there. Crazy. But a lot of times too, a lot of stuff will come in during visiting. Like if your girl comes to see you, she'll have it hidden, under a boob or something. They'll come in there, hurry up and throw it over the wall or whatever. Because I didn't get that many visits, but the prison I was at, when you come in, they're the only thing separating you and your visit. you're at a table and there's a little glass wall right there, but the glass wall doesn't go all the way up. You can throw something over it real quick, you know. And at the end, they're supposed to give you a 5-second hug or something like that. You know, you can pass it off during that too. My brother paid the guards to let him do tattoos in the cell. Yeah, you can pay the guards, man. The guards are just regular people like us. Man, I'm telling you, and they're not making that much money. A CO does not make, life-changing money. So if they get an opportunity to put a couple $1,000 extra in their pockets, some of them might do it. Hell, there's some COs that break the rules, not even for money. They do it for love. There's some female COs that have relationships with inmates. You might have a woman, she's big as hell on the outside. Nobody shows her attention. But every time she goes into that prison, every time she goes into that prison building, every guy is trying to holler at her. She feels like Mariah Carey at that point. I'm telling you, that stuff will go to her head, and she'll end up having a relationship with a couple of them. Rick Ross was a CO. I heard about that. I think it's true. I think that's true because he ain't never denied it. I don't even think he was a real drug dealer. I really don't. He probably sold, a little bit, but I don't think he was doing no Tony Montana or nothing like that. A lot of these rappers, the things they be saying, he ain't never really done that shit. Man, you gotta think about it. There's so many cameras nowadays. Like, people are getting caught for all kinds of things. You think that these rappers are so smart that they're getting away with all this stuff? Hell no, it didn't happen. Or it happened to somebody else. They be having ghostwriters and all that. Half their songs be written by somebody else. Yeah, you want to pick and choose your battles. That's a good way of saying it too. I did learn that in there. If if you get into it with somebody and you could tell if you start fighting right here and there, it's probably not gonna go in your favor. You probably don't want to do that. Walk away, and you want to get the jump on him. You want to do it when it favors you. It's like there ain't no chivalry. You know how people in the old days they want to be a man and do chivalry, straight up head-to-head combat. No, all that goes out the window when you're in prison and jail. You want to do stuff, you fight dirty. Because it doesn't matter how you won, it's who won. A lot of people, they be hating their lives in there, man, and they be trying to take it out on people. And they might try to take it out on you one day. You never know. Nah, I know people, he the hood that be doing it. Everybody ain't getting caught. Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. There's a lot of people that don't get caught. There's a lot of people don't get caught. But I mean, if you're doing the same thing over and over, eventually, you gonna get caught. Eventually, because there's always somebody that's smarter than you. Maybe that first cop didn't catch you. Maybe that second cop didn't catch you. But maybe that third cop, now maybe he might catch you. Real stuff, man. So I just, I live life based on these rules. However you want to be treated, that's how you treat somebody else. That's how I live my life. That's how I live my life. I give everybody respect. I even give people like off the internet. I give you everybody respect. Even the trolls. Hell, even the trolls. I give y'all respect because I know most of them, they just doing it, man. They have shit going on in their lives. I already know how it be. But I'm telling y'all, I be having it just as hard as everybody else. Shit, I'm not sitting up here in the mansion, talking about the bad times because it's now the good times. Hell no, I'm still struggling. Yeah, trolls. Some of them haters. I ain't gonna lie. There was a couple times though, right, where some trolls were talking stuff to me, right, and I guess they didn't get the reaction they wanted, and I just told them I was just talking to them like it never happened, whatever, and some of them became fans. I was like, damn, they just wanted some attention. I guess I don't know. I get it. A lot of us that didn't get caught for whatever reason and got locked up, I think it was supposed to happen that way so we could make a decision what we're going to do with our lives. Got caught, I meant to say. Yeah, it could, like maybe you weren't meant to go to jail. Maybe you weren't meant to go to prison, you know. Maybe that wasn't meant to happen. Maybe you were supposed to learn from that, you know what I'm saying? You did get caught, but you don't want to keep on doing it to where you might get caught, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, when you get caught and you go to prison, you become a bill. Like you ain't contributing to your family at all. You're calling people, they're like, man, he's calling again. God damn, he's calling again. They might get to that point for real. You're calling them and asking them for money all the time. You're not helping no money, no bills or nothing. You can't help your son with homework. You can't help your mom get up and go to the grocery store. You can't do nothing. Let's live life. Yeah, I'm gonna take Jay's slogan. It's crime. Let's live life. Nah, that's his. He should brand that. He should brand that. I wish I got caught. My boy snitched on me. Yo, that's the part that hurts, yo. Cause like I be saying, you be having snakes all around you, right? And you won't know that they're snakes because they're not. They're going to pretend to be your friend because they're getting something out of it. They're getting something out of it by being around you, being around your presence. They're getting something out of it. I don't know if it's your company or you're helping them out, but when you ain't no help to them anymore, man, they're gonna show them fangs. I'm telling you. And if they get jammed up, they gonna throw you to the wolves to get themselves out. That's how it always be happening, man. I just keep myself away from a lot of people, man. I'm telling you, a lot of people I keep myself away from because you can grow up with somebody your whole life, and one day they backstab you to where it's forgivable. Most of my homies been locked up in prison. Yeah, man. I Mine too. That's why I had to get away from that. When I got out, I told myself, I said, well, I did try to hang around some of my homies, right? But man, they were taking me like they were bringing me right back into the streets and stuff. They were trying to get me to go out and do stuff. I'm like, damn, I just got out. Like, at first, they bringing me around girls and all that, and going to parties, going to cookouts and all that. It was cool. But then once we started, they bragging about, let's get into the drug game, let's do this. I'm gonna put you on. I was like, man, I gotta back up from that because I ain't trying to lose no more years, man. Our lives are short, man. Them 8 years flew by fast, man. You know what I'm saying? I won't ever get that time back. I don't want to lose no more. I only got like a couple years left in me. I wanna enjoy it, man. When you be watching those movies and you see people getting old, sitting on a porch, watching the sunset. I want to do that. I don't want to be sitting in the damn cell, smelling my cellie's feet and all that. Do you think it is hard when people get out of prison to go back to the place you got in trouble? Yeah, it's hard. You gotta leave it. That's what I had to do. I I stopped messing with all my homies and I just got up and left. I went somewhere where I didn't know that many people and I just keep to myself. And I ain't had no problems. Keep it to yourself, you ain't have no problems because you ain't got to worry about nobody backstabbing you. You ain't got to worry about nobody bringing problems to your place. I ain't got to worry about none of that. All I got to worry about is me. Because I ain't gonna lie, when you're down and out and you're in prison, that's all you got is yourself. And I've had to figure out that the hard way. Before prison and jail, I always cared about what other people thought. I always cared about going out and having fun with other people. But when you get jammed up and you're sitting in there, they ain't gonna be there with you. I learned that the hard way. And I was like, damn. You gotta look after yourself, man, because if you don't do it, nobody else is gonna do it. Is there any fun times in prison? Like times where you can just chill with your bros for a bit? I ain't gonna lie. There ain't really no fun times in there. I can't, like, I remember times where I laugh around, like we laughing, joking around and stuff, or like we making a hookup, but it ain't really happy times. It's kind of like that feeling where like you have to go somewhere to like a event or something you don't want to go, and you're around a lot of people you don't get along with. You're around the people you don't have no interest in, and you're just sitting there and you just you want to go back home. It kind of feels like that. You're just waiting to go back home. You're enjoying. You're talking to people. You're putting up with them, but you don't want to be here. It's one of those feelings, and you never wake up in prison and jail and you're like, damn, this was one good day. Hell no. Some days are better than others, but there's never a really good day in there. Never. The best day in prison or jail is commissary day. Like you asked anybody. Commissary day is the best day. Everybody's happy. Man, everybody's sitting there dancing and shit. All that. They happy because they about to, get food because they starve you in there. They will starve you because the food they give you is some plant shit, and you be starving. Your stomach is hitting your back. You are starving. What's up, Philly Talk? You need to get them four soups up. Them four soups. I remember people, everybody would have like a little hustle, right? And some of those some gloves that doctors use when they're working on people, like those Lexi gloves or whatever. Inmates would get those because they give us those gloves cleaning up, right? And they put coffee in the fingertips, and those would be like coffee shots. I forgot how much it was. I think it was a dollar shots. Yeah, fingers. I was trying to do that for a while. So like you would spend like maybe like 350 or 375 on a bag of coffee, and when you do that, when you split it up and do like that, you're making what, like $7 or $8 out of it. You could somewhere around there. Yeah, but if you been on my channel lately, I think you noticed that I've been uploading some of my old interviews to my channel, and I'm doing that because if people come to my profile, like they have to go all the way over to live to see some of my interviews, and a lot of people don't do that. So a lot of my interviews don't get seen. So I'm trying to put them on my main page so everybody, when you come to my channel, you get to see them. Because I ain't gonna lie, I like my interviews. So yeah, if you see some interviews that you already seen, my bad. I didn't upload one today, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Right now, I'm working on like 3 videos, and I'm trying to really work on them. Like at first, I was rushing stuff out. Like I was spending like 2 days on a video and rushing it out, and I want to make the quality a little bit better. So I'm taking my time on these videos. I had one video. It was about Chud the Builder. That's one video. It's about Chud the Builder. Another video is about a story about when I was in prison. I had a homeboy. He got into a situation, and it involves a booty bandit. That was the other story. And the other story is 10 rules you need to know about going to jail or prison. 10 rules. If you follow these 10 rules, you'll probably have a good time. Well, not a good time, but you won't have a really bad time. They can they call the classification. They decide which level you get put in. Yeah, when you're at jail and you go to prison, you gotta sit in quarantine until you go see classification. And basically, classification when you go see them, they're going to decide what your level is. Are you a medium security level, high security level? They're going to decide if you need to be at this camp, this jail, or they're going to send you somewhere else. Because I had a homie, right? And he came from jail to the prison I was at, but he got in trouble so many times. He got sent to the hole, and he was fighting a body, a murder charge. He killed him and his brother killed a person, killed a guy, and he got so many fights while he was in jail. They were like, "Hell no, you're going to maximum security." So they sent him there. They kept me at a medium security. Yeah, but you can't go on a compound. You got to stay locked down until you go to classification. I had the lowest classification, maybe 2 points or something, my first time, and I was in regular population with people in their fighting bodies. Yeah, like a lot of people, they think level fives and all that is like that's the goal, and that's not the goal. People in level fives are trying to work their way down. Like that is the goal. It's not cool to be at no level five. At level five, you stay in your cell all day. You're basically in the hole. Like you're in the hole. You don't get TVs. You don't get game systems. You don't get none of that. You're in the hole. But when you start to go down, that's when you get more privileges. You get to have more time out the cell. You get to be on the phone more. You have a tablet. Because I don't even think in level 5 you don't get tablets. I don't know. But you don't get game systems. I know that. I had an Xbox 360 in my cell because I was in medium security. So, you got Xbox 360. I was playing Call of Duty. I wasn't playing it online. I was playing it offline. And there's only so many times you can play that before it gets boring. I'm telling you. You would think, you'd be like, damn, if I had Call of Duty, man, I could play zombies. I'll play it all night, right? Hell no, man. That stuff gets boring after a while. Yeah, but the goal is to work your way down because at the very bottom, you got the lower camps. And at the lower camps, man, it's basically it's the closest thing you'll get to freedom. You have an opportunity to have a normal job where you'll wake up and you'll go to a regular job and you can earn regular money. I'm not talking about no $20 a month. I'm talking about normal paycheck, like $500, $600, whatever, minimum wage, wherever you're at. You can have a normal job and let it stack up. So when you get out, you can have, all that money when you get out to start your new life. Dude, is a jail and streaming. I'm not, it doesn't even look like I'm in jail. I made this wallpaper, right? Just because I wanted something better to look at in the background, because my background, if I take this off, I'm gonna take this off. Hold on. You see how boring it is? This shit is boring. I wanted something better to look at. You know what I'm saying? I ain't, I'm not living like a streamer. I'm living like a poor streamer right now. So I wanted something better to look at. And I thought a tunnel will represent what I'm talking about better. Because, if you're in jail or you're in a dark place, you got to walk your way out the tunnel and go to the light. You want to get jail so bad, don't you? You want to go to jail so bad. I've been to jail. I don't want to go back. Trust me. But what they say, bro, keep going. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I don't let that stuff get to me. I don't want to see anybody else go to jail. I really don't. There's been times like when I was in jail and in prison, and I seen like people that didn't do nothing wrong, just because they looked weak or somebody knew that they could take advantage of them. They did that, and their lives were horrible. And I told myself, I said, when I get out, I'm gonna try to bring prison to ordinary people they ain't never been. Because a lot of like rappers, a lot of TV shows glorify this stuff. You can't say they don't. They make jail, like all the jail skits and stuff, they make it seem cool. It's not fucking cool. Like a lot of nightmare stuff happens in prison. Man, a lot of people didn't make it home. A lot. I seen like 13 people die in there. 13 people. On the outside, before I went to prison and jail, I only seen like one person die. One person. I started seeing people get stabbed. I done seen people get extorted. I mean, literally, if you go to Instagram or whatever, X or whatever, and you look up some of this prison stuff, you'll see people getting walked around like on dog leashes, you know, and that stuff is real. That stuff really happens. Like you go in there and people see they can get over on you. They're like, oh, well, he looks like, you know, he's never even been to jail. Look at him. And he's getting money. You know, his mom is sending him money for commissary, all that. We're just gonna go over there and snatch his shit. We're gonna go over there and threaten him. We're gonna go over there and tell him he's got to pay us to stay on this tier. And if he doesn't pay us, you know, we're gonna kill his ass. That's people do that stuff, man. Imagine you in there minding your business. You got like 6, 7 people come up to you and tell you, yo, you gotta pay us, or we gonna, you know, we gonna kill you if you're in here. You ain't gonna make it home. That stuff really happens, man. That stuff really happens. I just want to warn people, man. You out here committing crimes and stuff for no reason, man. There's consequences, and you ain't gonna want them consequences. It depends on where you're at. Some prisons and jails are worse than others, but you get sent to the wrong prison, like you out there stealing stuff or whatever, and then you get sent to prison, and you end up, you know, getting stabbed. You know, you all that for a death sentence. You know, it's not worth it. I mean, like going to jail and prison for me, I mean, it straightened me out, you know. But some people didn't get to learn their lesson. Some people didn't get to learn the lesson I did, that I learned, you know. It's not for everybody. But you know, when everybody's watching King Von, I mean, listening to King Von and all this stuff, everybody wants to live that lifestyle. You can't say it, man. Everybody wants to live that lifestyle, but they don't want what comes after that. You know, it might not even be prison and jail. You might end up dead. You know, you might end up dead. One of my brothers said he was watching TV and his 2 dudes got into it. One guy ended up getting hit in the head with a rock in a sock. Oh, you talking about lock in a sock? That guy didn't go home. Yeah, it happens all the time, man. Over petty stuff. I'm talking about people like getting assaulted over 3 noodles. 3 noodles. Something petty like that. Man, let you take something from the store, man. $5 from the store, man. Some honey buns and some chips and stuff because you're starving. Because the last couple of meals we got was like you couldn't eat it. It was all plant shit. And you're starving. You're like, damn, man, I need some real food. Oh, that inmate, he's got some. He'll lend you out some food since you got no commissary, but you gotta pay him back double. All right, yeah, I'll do that. You go over there, you get all this stuff from them. You're like, yeah, I got you. My peoples, they got you. They're gonna put money in my books. They got you. I got you. Next door day, and then you get on the phone with your mom. Your mom or your girl's like, yeah, you ain't gonna believe this. I lost my job today. I don't know what we're gonna do about the bills, but I ain't got money to send you. Now you owe this man fucking like $20, and you about to get your ass tore up over $20. You never know what's gonna happen. Cause like I said earlier, when you go in there, you become a bill. Now I also seen people coming to jail, and they know they got some petty shit. You know, they know that they're about to get out soon. They go in there running their mouths. They're like, oh yeah, that's why I'm about to go home. You know, they know they're about to go home. That's why you're about to go upstate. That's why, you know, I'll be spending time with your girl. They start running their mouths to everybody. Then they get beat the hell up or they get stabbed or something. You know, it will humble you real fast. You know, like or here on the outside, you know, we'll see somebody on the sidewalk or whatever. We'll get into an argument. We'll talk crap and then we'll go home. Man, you could do that in jail or prison. You gotta go to the cell and you gotta come right back out to see the same person. There ain't no going home and forgetting about it. Hell no. You wake up to the same people you had an argument with the other day. Yeah, a lot of people are pod hoppers. Yeah, that happens. You know, people that start stuff and then they'll check in and stuff. But see, when you do stuff like that, you get a name. You know, you have dirt on your name. When you come into a pod, people be like, "Oh, yeah, don't mess with yo. He be taking people off. He be doing people dirty. He owes everybody. Don't do no business with that guy right there." You know, people are going to start talking, and it's going to get around the pod, and nobody's going to want to mess with you. Yeah, somebody's always watching something. Some, I'm telling you, man. Let you like they got a couple of guys in there, right? There's guys that want to live their life as females. You know, they got boobs and everything. You know, I don't know what to call them. I don't want to keep calling them punks because that's what inmates call them. But I feel like I'm disrespecting them when I'm doing that. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. So let's just say a lot of trans people. There's a lot of trans people in jail and prison, right? And you know, if you over there talking to one of them, everybody's gonna think that you are like that too, you know, and people are not gonna want you to be in the cell with them, and it starts a whole lot of mess. It does, you know. Now, if everybody is like going to rec or a yard and you're sneaking off into their cell, then you know people are always watching. Man, you gonna get some dirt on your name, man. I'm telling you, you might go home, and then somebody calls you out, but like, hey, you know your boyfriend he been he been with a guy the whole time in here, and you out here marrying him and shit. Yeah, there'd be a lot. I ain't gonna lie, there's a lot. There is a lot of them in there. There's a whole community of them. I'm not even joking. I seen more trans people in jail and in prison than I seen on the outside. Like seriously, I'm not even joking. Because some of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, you know, they want to get the boobs and stuff, right? But they ain't got the money to do that. So there's a workaround. If you go to prison or jail and you ask to be put on those pills that cost a lot of money on the outside, they're like legally obligated to give you them. So a lot of them they would do that too. You know, that's how they'll get all that because the state has to pay for it. They're required to or something. Somebody's telling me about it. What's the worst criminal charge you can get? The worst charge you can get is anything dealing with SA. If it's a sexual offense, those are the worst charges. You already know that. That's the worst charges to have. If you have those kind of charges, I'm gonna tell you, when I went to prison, my own gang, I told you I used to bring one of the Crips. My own gang, they was like, yo, you gotta show your paperwork. Because they can't have anybody running around with some crazy charges like that. You get charges like that, you get put out the pod. You might even get hurt. GBG is too big in West Virginia. Gay boy gangs. Yo, I ain't never. What the? Yo, I ain't never heard of that. GBG, gay boy gangsters. I ain't never heard of that. What the? Is that real or is that something you just made up? That can't be real, man. Yo, I ain't never heard of that right there. Yo, that's crazy. You in lockup now? No, I'm not. I'm out. I've been out of prison for about a year, and I'm gonna say 8 months or 9 months, something like that. It's been almost 2 years. It's been almost 2 years. You know, I ain't gonna lie. You know, each day gets a little bit easier. But when I very first got out, man, I'm telling you, that freedom, it was like I was being reborn again. I was sitting there looking over my shoulder. I was like, oh shit, I'm waiting for the CO to come out and grab me and take me back in there. I'm still on probation. I got probation for like I don't even know how long. I think I'm almost done. I think I got like a year left. I got only thing I got is probation. I try to get paroled out, right? You know you can get paroled out and all that. So when I was in prison, I went to see the guy who comes to see you for the parole when the parole board comes or whatever. And I had this whole letter written out. You know, I made it sound good. I told him everything he wanted to hear. And I was sincere about it. He could tell I was sincere. He granted me parole, right? And I'm all happy. Man, I went back to the unit. I told my cellie, right? And I was like, man, I'm about to get out of this bitch. He just granted me parole. I'm happy as hell, right? And this is like 2 years into my bid. Man, I was happy as hell. So tell me why, like a week later or 2 weeks later, I got a letter, and they said that somebody above that guy like I guess his captain or whatever or supervisor, they denied it. They went against the guy who granted me that, and they denied it. They took it back. I was like, damn, they could do that. I didn't even know they could do that. I thought once, the parole board say, okay, you are going to get parole. I thought it was guaranteed. No, it ain't guaranteed. His boss can override him and take that back. Because that's what happened to me. Man, I was sad as hell, man. Imagine, man, I was on the phone talking to my mom and everybody. I was happy. I was like, yeah, I got parole, mom. I got parole. Hell yeah. I'm sitting there fucking tears of joy. What's going on? What's going on? And then they're like, oh, nope, give me that. Thank you for that gift, that gold coin, Brand. They had their fingers crossed. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But that's one thing I would say. Don't tell nobody when you're about to get out. I learned that the hard way because there are a lot of people that are not getting out, and there's people that don't want to see you get out. And that's true. And I'm gonna give you an example. When I was like 2 or 3 months before I was getting released, man, tell me why something happened in the gang I was in, the Crips. Man, so we had a meeting. And how about this one guy? I don't know if he was jealous that I was about to get out or not, but he kept trying to volunteer me to do a mission. And I'm like, yo, I got 3 months before I go home. Why are you volunteering me for that? Why? Why are you trying to, like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? People don't want to see you go home. Yeah, I don't know why people think I'm in jail. Is it the green screen or whatever? It doesn't even look like a jail though. Like that's the crazy part. Yo, this does not look like a jail. It looks like a hallway. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, you gotta keep all that to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Cause at the end of the day, people are gonna look out for themselves. And you gotta look out for yourself. You have to. Why I dress like an inmate? I'm just dressed. I dress casual. I like wearing white shirts, black shirts. I ain't gonna lie. When I was in prison, all the stuff I had on outside, all that, I lost all of it. When I got out, I had to start all the way over again. I had to. I ain't had nothing. Yeah, I don't know why everybody's worried about the backdrop, but nobody's listening to the message. Stay your ass home. Don't go to jail or prison. Hey, but if anybody in this room right now, oh yeah, if you're in this room, please hit that like button. Like double tap the screen. If you don't hit the like button, boom, boom, tap the screen. Do that for me, please. But anyways, if you got a story that you want to be told or whatever, I'll let you, come on the live stream, and I'll give you an outlet to tell your story. You know what I'm saying? If you done time in prison, or you worked in, you were a correctional officer, or you do some kind of work to help people or something. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't even have to be about prison. Long as it can help somebody, I'll bring you up for an interview. So just leave a comment in this video or any of my other videos, and we'll set something up. And I'll let you come on, and you can tell your story. As long as it helps people, I'm okay with it. Inkin or poker. Tell us about y'all setup. Inkin or poker. Is that somebody else or something? I fight for prison reform. That's what's up. Come on, man. Come on for an interview. I'll give you an outlet. Shout out prison reform. Where did you eat when you got out? Man, I don't even know, man. Where's the first thing I ate when I got out? I think my aunt. I went to her house, right? Because I was staying with her for a couple of days, and she had cooked. My aunt, she's white, but she be cooking like she watched a lot of Medea and stuff and like that. Her husband was black, and like she's got a lot of, you know, she had a lot of black in her, you know what I'm saying? She cooked soul food and stuff. And the night before she had cooked chicken and stuff. And you know, that's what I ate. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I know you're probably thinking I'm probably gonna say some 5-star restaurant or something. No, I ate some leftovers. That's it. I'm gonna be honest. I ate some damn leftovers. Do you have a lover in there? Hell no, I ain't had no lover. You talking about prison? Fuck no, I ain't no lover in there. Man, I ain't gonna lie. You get tired of seeing people, man, the same people all day, every day. You get tired of seeing them. The you can look at jail, right? It's one thing, but the smells is a whole nother thing. It stinks in there. Man, you can't. There ain't no love moment in there. Like there ain't no. I didn't have no secret crush with no CO or nothing like that. And when I was in there, I don't know what it was, but like I was married before I got locked up. My wife divorced me when I was in there. So I didn't have any, like, I wasn't out here talking to 5 different women or 5 different girls at the time, you know. So there goes that, you know what I'm saying? Nobody has a prison girlfriend. What do you mean about like prison girlfriend? You mean like on the outside? Everybody's got like, are you talking about dating another inmate? Like a prison girlfriend like that? Hell no. I think I know what you're talking about. You seen like some of these inmates, like they'll do skits and they'll have like a guy that has like hair or whatever, or he's dating a trans. Oh, actually, yeah, they were dating trans people in there. Like, they were having normal. They have normal relationship, just like how I had that one trans person, Case the doll. I did an interview with her. If you ain't seen it, check it out. But anyways, trans people in there, they be dressing up like girls and they be dating other inmates in there. Like it be happening. Now everybody ain't like that. Like 90 or 95% of inmates or convicts or whatever you want to call them in there are not dating trans people because you know they're not swinging that way. But like that 5%, man, they got their own little group, man. They be they be dating them all and stuff. Thank you, Tanner. I appreciate it. I try to here lately. I've been trying to go live every day around 6 o'clock Eastern time. I've been trying to keep it that way. But there might be some days where I'm not able to come online. But most of these days I've been coming online every day. At least for an hour to talk about something, about prison related something. The police brutality is real. Hell yeah, in there. Man, if you do something, I seen a CO. He has slapped. No, I seen an inmate slap a CO. Man, do you know when that CO called that code in? They went in there and beat the hell out of him. You know what I'm talking about when all the officers are on you and they're beating the hell out of you and they're saying, stop resisting. And you're like, I'm not doing nothing. And they're like, stop resisting, stop resisting. It's like that. Man, that guy was on the floor crying. He was crying, man. He was like, I'm not doing nothing. They're like, stop resisting. Thank you for that gift. But we got a lot of COs that are from damn, I always forget this part, man. Nigeria or something like that. Somalia. There's a lot of COs from Somalia. I don't know why that is. There's like a lot of Somalian groups come over here and like for like job opportunities. So you see a lot of them, but there are a lot of them are being COs and stuff. Man, they be in there. You don't even understand them when they be talking, but they cool to talk to sometimes. Man, they be sitting there joking around and stuff. They be cool. Them East Coast and Southern prisons are virtually PC yards, sex offenders, and snitches all bad. Hey, you can't. Hell no, you can't say that. Hell no. Every prison, every jail's got a PC. Every, but they ain't all like that. You can't put down the East Coast. Thank you for that, Brand. Thank you for the gift, the gold coin. I appreciate it, fam. Jay Williams live tonight. Yeah, Jay Williams. Oh, Necro. That's what. I don't know if you were in here. Jay Williams is supposed to invite me to. You know that thing he has on the weekends. It's like that what if thing where he invites random people to the stream. He said he was going to invite me tonight. That's what when I did the interview with him, I told him because he invited me the night that I did an interview with the girl from 60 Days In. I was doing the interview with her and he sent me an invite, but I couldn't make it. I can't just quit out the interview and go do it. So I told him, I was like, damn, Jay, I missed that interview. I mean, I missed that invite you gave me, but send me another one. He said, I got you this Saturday. So hold on, is today Saturday? Yeah, it's tonight. Yeah, so I'm expecting him to send me the invite tonight. Yeah, Jay is dope. I ain't gonna lie. Like I ain't gonna lie. Everybody in this chat can just talk about Jay, and I wouldn't even care. You know what I'm saying? Because when I got into prison content creator, be doing all this, everything I learned from him. Like the reason him telling his stories, because he helped me. Like hearing his stories helped me. It really did. Because I was going through trauma and everything. So I was like, damn, if he helped me, maybe I can help somebody else. You know what I'm saying? We just doing it like that. But yeah, even him coming on the lives with me and stuff, and well, no, not the lives, but the interviews and stuff. Like we talked before we went on the interview. You know, we talked for like 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. You know, he gave me some good information. He was helping me out. Thank you for that gold coin, Jamie. Yeah, but yeah, he's a cool guy, man. He really is. Like he's one of them people you see on YouTube, right? And you're like, damn, he can't be like that in real life. You know, this is all for he's doing this for the camera or whatever. But no, he's really real. The way he acts on the camera is the way he's in real life, man. You still with the Crips? To be honest with you, see, that's the thing about it. When you're in a gang, you're always gonna be in that gang. I got the Crips tatted all over my stomach, right? Right on my stomach right now, I got Crips going across it. And that's the thing about when you join a gang, you're always going to be associated with that gang. So, like, if I ever go to jail or prison and I tell them I'm not that, I'll basically put my life at jeopardy, you know, on the line because they can't have that. They're going to have to make an example out of me. So, what I would say to that is I kind of fall back. Even if you can't get out of it all the way, I fell back from that and I'm doing the family thing. I don't want to be in the streets. I'm not young. You know, I don't want to be, I'm not gang banging. Let's just put it that way. I'm not gang banging. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm not in the streets. No, I'm not doing none of that. But if I got to be associated with it still, that's whatever. But you know, I'm not doing none of that. If you snitch, you are done. You are no longer Crip. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But see, like the dream was when I was young, man, my stepdad was Crip. And I used to look up to it, man. I always wanted to be like him. I was like, damn, man, he made it seem so cool. He did. But now that I see how everything is, you know, I don't really want it no more. But you know, when you join, that's the dangers of joining it. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna join this for the weekend and you know, that's it. No, it don't work like that. Once you're in it, you're in it. There's no fucking getting out. So if I ever get in trouble, like say I have a misunderstanding with somebody, I get into an argument, I get sent to jail for a couple of days. They go in there and they see Crip all over me. And I say, oh, I'm not that. I used to be that. Man, I'm gonna get my ass fucking beat the fuck down. I might even get stabbed. So to that, I just say, like, you know, I'm not gang banging. I want to do the family thing, you know. I want to get old. Most man, gang banging, man, most people don't live to old age. They don't. Now, like somebody, you can be like, okay, like Snoop Dogg, he's Crip, right? But he's not gang banging, and he's I think he's sharing positivity, ain't he? Everybody likes him. He's got to be. I think it'd be the same way of him. If people asked him, "Are you still Crip?" He probably give like the same answer. He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm Crip, but I'm not in the streets gang banging. I'm not doing that." You know. Yeah, you'll be a crippled after that. That's a good way to say it. Yeah. You definitely be a crippled after that. Shit, I might get my head knocked in. Might be, half mental. Oh snap! Thank you for the golden dookie. I ain't never seen that before. Who did that? Joanna. I think that's what it says, Joanna. If I pronounce your name wrong, my bad. I dropped out of high school, so you gotta work with me. Oh shit! Go turkey. I can't even. I don't even know how to say that name. I ain't too gonna. I don't know. I can't say that one. I'm sorry. Thank you for the happy poop though. Toga Games. I think that's what it says. Toga Games. Joining the gang, you're marked and known from folks that got you in it, and the work goes out. Maybe Toga Games. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Y'all play chess, spades, poker, hearts. What y'all do for fun? Man, there ain't no fun in there, to be honest with you. A lot of people, oh, thank you for that, Tater. Now I know that name. I know Tater. I know Tater Tot. Thank you for that. Yeah, a lot of people, they be playing cards and stuff in there. But when you get to prison, you don't really you see that in jail more than anything. Because when you get to prison, people are like putting bets on football games. They're listening to music. They're on their tablet talking. They still might be playing. Yeah, they be gambling. Yeah, they still gamble and stuff. Yeah, so they do it for fun, gambling. But look, that gambling, I wouldn't do that because I've seen a lot of people get beat up for doing that too. Yeah, I appreciate it, but I think that's it for this live stream. My phone is about to die. It's getting low, and I'm gonna go ahead and get ready. Hopefully, Jay invites me to that thing he said he was going to do. He's a man of his word, so I know he's going to. So, if you're on tonight, you see Jay Williams come on live, man, check him out because I'm gonna pop up in there. So if you see Jay Williams go live, yeah, go in there because I'm gonna be popping up in there sooner or later. I don't know how long I gotta wait, but when he sends me an invite, I'm going in there. I'll go live tomorrow too. So yeah, if you enjoyed, hanging out and talking with me, if you really want to join, man, become a membership of the channel. Your video ideas, I'll take into consideration, and we can do videos and stuff together. All that, and you can even come on and do interviews or whatever. Become a member, help out the channel, or subscribe. But yeah, I'm gonna check it all out later. Thank y'all for coming and chilling with me. Same time tomorrow. Yeah, I gotta recharge. Yeah, we all gotta recharge. Yeah, but if Jay Williams comes on tonight, check him out because I'm gonna be in there. But yeah, I'll see y'all there. Hell no, we ain't going back. Hell no. See y'all later, man. Y'all have a good one. Stay out of prison.